Hello everybody, welcome to another video for SU Studies with You. My name is Castillo, and on this video we're going to understand the order of operations and apply it to simple expressions. So let's go ahead and start. Sometimes when you're trying to simplify an expression, you're going to encounter all kinds of operations: additions, subtractions, multiplications, divisions, exponents, and roots. And you can also find parentheses. So order of operations is going to help you to properly solve these expressions in the correct way. The first thing that you have to solve in an expression are going to be the operations inside the parentheses. So any operation that is encapsulated into a parenthesis, a bracket, or braces, you will have to solve first. This includes numerators of fractions that have a lot of operations in there, or denominators that follow the same trend. You also have to solve anything inside grouping symbols, like absolute value bars, or like radical signs. The next kind of operations that take priority when simplifying an expression are going to be exponents and roots. Exponents are going to be those small numbers that are superscript to any letters, numbers, or any other variable. The roots, we might know those by the radical sign. So anything that is encapsulated by a radical sign has to be solved on this step. Exponents, as I already mentioned, are going to be those numbers or letters that have a superscript, and those have to be solved next. The next operations that you have to solve are going to be multiplications and divisions. It is very important for you to understand that multiplications and divisions are opposite operations. They belong to the same family, so you will have to solve multiplications and divisions as they are happening left to right. Whatever happens first, multiplication or a division, left to right. For example, multiplications, you're going to find them as multiplication through parentheses. You can also find them multiplication with the multiplication sign, which looks like an X. In algebra, we don't use that symbol that frequently because it looks like an X, but that can also denote multiplications, the same as a dot, also denoting multiplication. All of those multiplications have to be solved in this category. The divisions are also going to take the same priority. Whatever happens first, left to right. How are we going to find the divisions? As fractions. We can also find them with the division sign. And also when talking about ratios, which are also divisions, we might find them with a semicolon. The last operation that we have to solve when following the order of operations are going to be additions and subtractions. Remember that these two belong to the same kind of operations, so you will have to solve whatever happens first, left to right. If there's an addition or a subtraction that's happening first, left to right, this is when you have to solve those. And how are we going to find additions and subtractions? With the plus and the minus sign. So we have two numbers where you have a plus sign in between, that's going to be an addition. If you have two numbers with a negative sign in between, that's going to be a subtraction. A very simple way to remember this is going to be by the mnemonic PEMDAS, which takes the first letter of each of these categories and gives PEMDAS. That's going to be an easy way for you to remember the order of operations. Always start with parentheses, exponents and roots, multiplications, divisions, additions and subtractions as they happen left to right. For example, if we have this expression and we're trying to simplify it, we have to follow PEMDAS. PEMDAS says that the first thing that we have to do is simplify the operations inside the parentheses. So we have a 3 multiplying a 6 inside the parentheses. So this takes priority. That is going to be the first operation that I'm going to do. And if I multiply 3 times 6, the result is going to be 18. Everything else in the expression remains as it is. If I keep following PEMDAS, we already did parentheses. We don't have any more operations inside a parenthesis, even though we have a number inside a parenthesis. That's not an operation, that's just a number. Okay? So then we have exponents and roots, and we don't have any on this expression. So we're just going to skip this family of operations, and we're going to get into multiplications and divisions. We don't have any multiplications and divisions over here, so we're going to move to the next category, which are additions and subtractions. And we don't have an addition, but we do have a subtraction, and that's the next thing that we're going to do. 18 minus 5, the subtraction, and 18 minus 5 is going to be 13. And this will be the simplest or most simplified form of this first expression. For this second expression, we also have to apply PEMDAS. We have a parenthesis that has an operation inside, which is 7 plus 2 to the power of 3, and this operation takes priority. So we will have to apply PEMDAS to this operation inside the parenthesis first, and then we'll go ahead and continue simplifying the expression. Within the parentheses, the operation that has the highest priority, according to PEMDAS, is going to be 2 to the power of 3, since we have to do exponents first. By doing this operation, everything else is going to remain the same, except the operation that we are performing. On this case, 2 to the power of 3 is the same as a repeated multiplication. 2 times itself 3 times. This does not represent 2 times 3. You have to be careful. This represents a repeated multiplication of 2 3 times. This is 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 is going to be 8. This is how we perform the operation of the exponent. Everything else in the expression remains the same. If we keep following PEMDAS, the next thing that takes priority is going to be this addition. Not because we're over here on this step, but because this addition is within a parenthesis. So we have to solve that operation first before we keep moving on. So if we do the addition, 7 plus 8, that's going to be 15. And everything else in the expression has to remain the same. If we keep doing PEMDAS, the last operation that I have is 15 times 2. That falls in the multiplications and divisions, and I have to perform it in order to complete simplifying this expression. So 15 times 2, the result is going to be 30. For this example, let's go ahead and apply PEMDAS as well. The first thing that we have to simplify, according to PEMDAS, are going to be operations inside the parentheses. Over here, we can see that I have a division inside the parentheses, and that's the one that's going to have priority. So we're going to go ahead and divide 2 over 1 and keep simplifying the expression. So dividing 2 over 1 is going to be 2, and everything else in the expression remains the same. If we follow PEMDAS, we're going to understand that the next thing to do are going to be multiplications and divisions. We don't have any more operations inside a parenthesis. We don't have any exponents or roots. So the next thing to do are multiplications and divisions. Remember that these belong to the same family, so they have to be done left to right. Whatever happens first, multiplications or divisions, left to right. So in this example, I have two options. I can do -6 times 2, or I can do 2 divided by 1. Only one of them is going to give the correct answer. So you have to start doing those multiplications and divisions left to right. Whatever happens first, on this case, is a multiplication. So -6 times 2, that's going to be -12. Everything else on the expression remains the same. Now, as you can see, the only thing that's left over is going to be a division. So we have negative 12 divided by 1, and that's going to be the result of my simplified expression. Thank you very much for watching. This was another video for SU Studies with You. My name is Efraín Castillo. I will see you next time.